All right, let's try this again. I don't know if I actually clicked go on the live stream or not. So I think hopefully we should now be going. Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right. Sorry about that.
All right, let's try this
Oh my
again. I don't
gosh.
know if I actually.
Clicked go. Oh my goodness. Okay. How about this? Now we should be in there. I can see that you guys are willing to bear through some technical challenges. So thank you so much. I see we got Kristen up in here and Swift from the Discord server. JP still up in here from earlier. And I think I saw, yeah, Rashed was still in here from earlier too. So did we, are we here? Are we back? I'm having like a time lag with the chat. So cool. Awesome. Killer. Yeah, there's this weird like 30-second delay between what you guys are typing and what I'm seeing. So Cyrus up in here. Yeah, cool. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, lots of technical shenanigans. This is like the first of what might be many Malazcasts. I was pretty pumped on my little logo that I made with like the clawed hand holding the podcast microphone. Yeah, so but I hope this goes well. It's crazy that so many of you are already up in here. Jonathan, cool. And just to be able to chat, I had initially planned to do this like big old giant live stream as like a Zoom meeting where we could all chat together and just kind of hang out and celebrate the subs and the books. And so, I had to kind of go with a plan B since I had already advertised the live stream and put it back in there as kind of a non-group thing and had to come up with a script really quick. So yeah, I figured what I could do is like say thanks in a more detailed way and just talk about kind of why I started the channel, and then maybe talk about like plans for the channel that we can do throughout. I'm gonna try it, JP, and keep it fairly spoiler friendly. So and just talk about those plans for future videos that I want to do. If everybody in the chat could kind of be mindful of the spoilers, just so that we can make sure that we, you know, are respectful of anybody who hasn't made it all the way throughout all of the books. But and then talk a little bit about schedule, because I've already kind of run into some issues, just like having a regular job and all that stuff, and trying to get that balance between like keeping the videos still fairly decent and getting as many out as humanly possible. That seems to be the kind of balance that I need to find to be able to strike. So I'll talk a little bit about scheduling, and then I'll also just kind of hit you guys up for feedback. I'm like looking down because I made some notes on my phone this morning really quick when I realized I wasn't going to have all these other fans, Malazan fans, in here with me to carry the conversation for the whole live stream. So yeah, again, thank you so much for joining me. I'll dive in kind of that order, but also like if there's any questions or anything that come up, just let me know, and I'll try and keep an eye on the chat. I have the chat like showing over the video, and that was like the maximum capabilities of my technical skills, but that way I could just kind of like watch on one screen and not have multiple different things. I do a lot of like spreadsheet work, so I work on a computer as my job, but yeah, not very like tech savvy on obviously putting together live stream broadcasts and all that stuff. So I'll be like 30 seconds behind the actual chat, but I'll get there eventually. So yeah, thank you so much. I cannot believe that we're actually 1,000 subscribers. I like started this at the end of last year because I had started working from home a little bit more. And oh, thanks, Code. That's super nice. We got Eamon. Oh my gosh, there's more people. Williams in here. Awesome. Thank you, sir. I see you always commenting on the videos too, which is awesome. So yeah, I think it'll be awesome to get everybody on here eventually. But when I, started this, it was because I really just loved the books. I was doing a reread again. I got the opportunity to work from home a lot more, and and so I was like always watching these videos, and the Wheel of Time show is coming out, so I was always like watching Daniel Green and Nablus, and I was rereading Malazan and had started Gardens of the Moon again back in like November, October, and yeah, we were talking about that in the chat before the stream even started. Was there was just no like Daniel Green equivalent for Malazan, and like barely any. You'd find people who would like talk about having read the book and how gnarly it is and how different it was and like kind of scaring people off, but nobody was just like spent many different videos nerding out about all the different cool stuff and weird stuff. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I have time. I'm like working from home more, and I love the books, and I thought it would just be fun because, like, again, I'm not super tech savvy, so I've like now discovered the kind of Malazan forum on Facebook, or not the forums. I knew about the forums and the wiki, obviously, but I wasn't on Reddit, and I wasn't in the Facebook Malazan Empire group. And so, I just wanted someone to talk to about the books ultimately. And I kept trying to get my buddies to read the books, or like my wife, and I knew she wasn't going to be into it just because it's a little too dark for her. And so, yeah, I was like, I'm just going to go for it and see what happens with no expectations other than like, I'm sure there's at least a handful of people out there who want to like nerd out and chit chat about these books and all this stuff. Oh, I see Geo is up in here. What up, dog? And just go for it because, yeah, what do we have to lose? It's not, I just figured, the worst case, I'm like nerding out on my own, making these videos, and best case, I like chat with everyone. And so to have like 1,000 subs in the 2 or 3 months, I guess it's 4 months now, since then is pretty intense. And I just want to say thanks to all you guys for the killer like comments and like, friends that I've made in the Facebook group and on the subreddit and in the Discord, where we've like actually just gotten to interact a lot and chat about the books and like share the love for the books, and kind of I've learned so much. It's like every video, and that's why I'm like so glad like Williams here and Geo and Swift and Kristen and everybody, because I've like every video I make, I learn more and more from you guys about the books, or just have, like you guys are way better at verbalizing what I'm trying to get out, and you guys have been there through the books. So yeah, I just can't thank you enough. It's like exceeded my every expectation. It does feel good to have, the numbers in terms of 1,000 subscribers, but it doesn't. That wasn't why I got into it. That's just kind of like a bonus. And so just wanted to start and say thanks. And I could see there's already like questions. Oh, and Devin Green's up in here. Hey, dude. What made me start reading Malazan? I was looking for, so I started, I figured that's like another cool point to ask. Thanks, JP. But I think that, yeah. Exactly. I totally do. My wife would say the exact same thing, but and agree with you, Swift. But yeah, I had read, lots of different fantasy. I was into Earthsea younger days, and then I read Wheel of Time, which fortunately I came across Wheel of Time like later after after Brandon Sanderson had already signed on to like finish up, so I wasn't like suffering through the like death of Robert Jordan or anything like that. Um, and then I read lots of stuff. Mistborn after I found Brandon Sanderson. I read the Robin Hobb stuff. Like she has like 13 or 15 books or something like that. I did all of the Realm of the Elderlings stuff. And then what else? I read. Oh yeah, and then I read all the Game of Thrones stuff and like the Neil Gaiman stuff. And the Game of Thrones one was the one that really was like bugging me, right? Because I was sick of reading books that weren't finished series. So I actually went on and was like, what's a good finished fantasy series that I can read? And everybody was saying don't read Malazan. Essentially, they were like, it's super long, it's like huge, it's confusing, but then there is like those sites that say it's like the top of the heap for quality content. And I was like, length doesn't scare me. Getting invested in learning, all this backstory stuff doesn't bother me. And so thanks, Glyph, doing the Lord's work. I appreciate you. I have not read Way of Kings yet. I see that, but yeah. So that's how I kind of like stumbled onto it, because it was like something that was finished that I could just like dive into. And then the reason why I stayed, obviously, was for the quality. So oh, I see Braun up in here too. Top heartbreaking moments. That's good. This is why I'm keeping the chat rolling, also to memorialize it for myself, because later on I was going to ask you what you guys thought about like top video ideas to throw them in the chat so that I can come back and check it out. So yeah, I think you guys have tons of great ideas, and there's like a million videos that I want to make, but you guys probably have even more, good ideas for videos. So yeah, that's why I kind of started reading it, to get back to JP's question. Oh, and I see everybody says what Rashed just said, and Paul, that Black Company is how people got in. I wasn't actually prepared for how dark Malazan was gonna be. I just knew that it was super big and epic, and that it was done. And so I have just like a voracious appetite once I get sucked into something. So yeah, I definitely will have to check out Black Company, because everyone that I talk to on Malazan like really recommends it. I probably don't think I would have honestly gotten into the series, Serena, if and I'm sorry if I'm butchering everybody's name, but I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't finished, just because I was looking for like a finished series, because I had read Wheel of Time and I was like able to sympathize with those people who had read like the first 9 books or 10 books or whatever, and then had Robert Jordan die. That would have been devastating, because I know what it's like to be like frustrated with George R. R. Martin. I had a period like 5 or 10 years ago, probably 10 maybe years ago, where I was just like dying for the next book in Game of Thrones or in A Song of Ice and Fire. And then the show was coming out, and that was cool. And then they like released Dance with Dragons, I think right around the time that the show was supposed to be happening. And so I was very like conscious of that. So no, I'm glad it was done so that I could get in there. I think that's one of the awesome reasons to get in and just like hunker down, because it is, like William said, one of the best of all time. But some people can't get into it. But I think there are people who are hungry for content, and like the types who watch entire Netflix series in 1 week, that would like might actually work for, because you can just kind of continue to dive in and just go right through them at your own pace. So oh my gosh, we have such a voracious chat going. This is awesome. Not as many people, yeah, not everybody likes Black Company. That's interesting. I still want to really check out Black Company. I'm like stuck on Malazan for a while because I like rereading as I'm doing the kind of Deadhouse Gates videos and whatever, and just kind of like I read the chapter and then I'll go back through and just kind of like skim it while I'm taking like a couple bullet points for like the broad points that I want to hit throughout the video. But eventually I want to get into the Black Company. Somebody asked if I'd want to see an anime series for Malazan. And I see JP's all pumped for a Malazan anime. What's up, Abdul? See you. And Jonathan's in here too. Cool. Yeah, I'd be super up for an anime. I think that would be a great way to do it. You get that Dejan Delic guy or whatever, or somebody like that to do some animations. That would be killer. And but you know, I think it's going to be super controversial. Just when you go through the forum, you could see that there's a lot of strong feelings about an adaptation for Malazan. I can see my lights freaking out. They for some reason just start changing color. What should we do? Blue? There we go. Yeah, so there's a lot of strong feelings about an adaptation, and I think you'd have to make some pretty strong divergences from the source material in terms of how you cut it up. And I was going to do a whole video on this, and I still might in the wake of my like kind of TV trailer video, but I think you'd have to cut it up in a different way. I think you could really stay faithful to the source material in a way that wouldn't piss everyone off. But I think that what you'd have to do is change the order of the telling, so that like you would have to like basically do, or the way I would do it would be to tell it storyline by storyline and have a bunch of like 6 or 8 or 10, episode mini series through different storylines. I have like a Bridge Burners mini series that basically takes you from Gardens of the Moon all the way through to the end essentially, and then do the same thing, have like a Talon IMAS one where maybe you even start back like in Kharkanas times or before, and tell it right up through the current, and then maybe have like the Tistandi story and do a similar thing. And then you could do like a couple smaller ones where you had like the SETI, and you could have a Chain of Dogs one, and then maybe have like this big like 10th or whatever and final season where it was kind of like the Crippled God / Assail, where we kind of tie the knots on all these different storylines, and they all the different characters from the different like kind of separate and sometimes just barely overlapping series, where you might have some people from the whatever the Tistandi one showing up in the Bridge Burners one a little bit, etc., but having their own separate storylines, and then they could all come together like in the Crippled God / Assail. That would be my thoughts on how you kind of do an adaptation. But I know that would, again, that would pee everybody off, right? So yeah, I don't know if you could do it, but I do think you could do that with anime. I even think you could do it honestly like with a live action. If you threw some serious money at it, you don't need like crazy good actors. I think you just need like gritty actors, and it'd be like ensemble casting, obviously, because there's so many characters that you could just go with total nobodies and try and do something really cool. And you'd have to like pare it back, but I think it could be summarized and pared back like in the way that I do for the summary videos. And there's a lot that you can tell with imagery that you can cover a lot of pages essentially, that where we go through and kind of yeah, there was, when I took film in college, there was this movie, not to go on a total tangent, but like one of the guy, it was this battle between an author who had wrote this awesome book and a guy who was adapting it for a movie. And this guy had like all this, pages and pages of exposition, describing stuff and talking all about the history, etc. And the director was like, yeah, I cut that down to like, a paragraph because it was just direction, because we're gonna like show that with imagery of like the dead wasteland of the aftermath of the war, etc., etc. And so and I'm not keeping up with the chat. So yeah, I love all the books. Somebody asked what the favorite book is, but I don't know. I think of it all kind of as one big book, especially like the first three or the first two. I'm on Deadhouse Gates again for third time, and it seems like that's just a big long introduction. But I like them all. When I started, and I think this is still, and I think you're right, Omi. I think it's possible that that it can't be done, but you would need a lot of money to do it right if you wanted to. Even as like an anime or an animated in general series, I still think you'd have to throw boatloads of money at it, because there's so many races and stuff that you got to do, and like distinct settings and stuff that you'd have to draw and do all that stuff. And so I see Glums here. Cheers. Thanks. Um, yeah, so but in terms of like plans for the channel, I think the goal when I started, and what it still is for me, is to and I see Qwerty shouting out Gruntle, who I love. Gruntle's my boy. I don't know if you guys are following Erickson on Facebook, or I think somebody put it in the Reddit too. But that picture of Ice and Erickson together, like on this dig site out, I think it was in Canada or something like that. It reminded me because Qwerty brought up Gruntle. Like Ice looks exactly like Gruntle. If you throw some tiger stripes on him in that picture, dude was like a dead ringer for for Gruntle. So that's a killer storyline too, right? The Gruntle storyline. I can't wait to get to that part of the books again, because that is some of the best stuff. It seems like a relatively small part, like thinking back on the whole series now, but what a awesome bit of storytelling, and just like talk about you know getting you in the feels. I guess is the technical term. It's that is some good stuff. So yeah, I think I want to summarize all that stuff and just kind of give my take. I don't want to just summarize the books. That's not what I'm trying to do, but just like give my reaction and kind of commentary on it too, and just like share my appreciation, hopefully, and people get pumped. Oh, I see Marcus is up in here. Marcus, hopefully you saw that all those killer comments about your quote, doggy. But yeah, I want to do all the books and make it through all 10, and that's why I want to talk about scheduling later on too, cuz like I like the idea of going chapter by chapter, but I'm not like, I have a full-time job too, and I noticed, when I was trying to do 2 a week, so I was doing just one chapter and then like something fun in the middle. I wasn't super pumped on the Deck of Dragons and the Houses video that I put out. I just think that could have been a lot better, and I should have spent more time working on it, and it felt all rushed and not cohesive. And so I'm like struggling to kind of balance again, the number of videos to get out, and then the quality that I want to like maintain, because I don't want it to just be garbage and be a waste of time. I want it to be like fun and hopefully informative or interesting or whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know. So I see like Swift and JP and everybody are talking about the Kapustan and the Black Coral stuff, and I don't know how I'm going to cover that. That's going to be pretty intense. I hope I don't get like chucked off YouTube for that, because there's some pretty serious stuff going down that I'm going to have to talk about. But I do want to eventually get to every single book and do like 10 plus books, and just like really have fun going through and like reliving all the stuff with people who there's a lot of people who I've seen who who are just starting the books, with me and going through it for their very first time. So I want to go through it all with them, and then I also just like want to share the reliving with you guys too. Oh yeah, and Devin says he's almost done with Toll the Hounds. That's a really good one. All the later ones, I was just so in by that point that like the last four books, I was like all in. Yeah, thank you guys so much for showing me the love. Paul asked about thoughts on Kharkanas. I'm into Kharkanas big time, dude. I was so sad when he decided to put that down and go for the Karsa one. I'm super pumped on the Karsa trilogy that's coming up. I'm even more pumped that hopefully it's coming out like next year. Although I don't know if, and I saw on like the European Amazon, they had like pushed back the release date, not for the Jhistal, for Ice's new one about the fourth of the path to Ascendancy, might be getting pushed back. It still looks like it's on track here in the US, but really pumped to get the Karsa one next year too. But I'm bummed that they left behind the Kharkanas because it was awesome, and I know they didn't sell good or whatever, but they were awesome, and they were like dark, and it's awesome because you get to like go back and actually find out like the real stuff. Like I was just reading something the other day. I think I was in the forums or on the wiki or something, and looking up stuff about Whiskey Jack. And the in the main series we find out that, or we hear, and I don't know if this is like too spoilery, I don't think it's very spoilery at all, but like the name Whiskey Jack was like supposedly given to him by Braven Tooth, who like does name all, a ton of the soldiers of the Malazan army, because he like oversees the training and whatever. But it seems like actually it was Cartheron Crust who actually gave him the name Whiskey Jack, if you go through and read the path to Ascendancy. But then obviously that means like him and Dujek are like 120 years old already, obviously, by the time of Gardens of the Moon. So yeah, I went off on a crazy tangent, but I do love Kharkanas a lot, and it was super heavy, Rashed, and dark. But I liked that, and I liked kind of dispelling some of the myths and getting to the bottom of like stuff which had already like kind of aged into lore by the time of the main series. And so yeah, I really want Walk in Shadow. I want to see what's up with Skara and those orphans, right? I don't want to get too spoilery, but that is a storyline that I think still needs telling. And I think just seeing the with Triss coming back and everything, and that whole thing, Aranthan, the Mybe, Hood. There's a lot of good stuff in there that is at this point still unresolved. So I'm hoping like one of two things happens. Either A, that he it feels like he bought himself some cover to go back to Walk in Shadow once the Karsa book comes out, or the Karsa book just crushes it so hard and sells like so many copies that he just like literally churns out the next two books of the trilogy in like rapid succession so that we can get on to Kharkanas. Yeah. See, Rashed's giving it up. That I was right. It was Cartheron Crust. So, yeah, I definitely will do a rankings book. I see somebody asked for that, but I agree with JP. I think it's like the biggest in scope. You know what I mean? Like going back like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. When you think about like the Azathanai, even, there's even more time, before that, and there's going to be a lot of time after, and there's a lot of gaps that could be filled in between. So I think sky's the limit. And yeah, I do think just going back to plans for the channel, I think I want to do all those chapter reviews and stuff. I think that I also want to do more character deep dives. I'm trying to like spread them out and pick ones that I can do. I'm torn because there's ones that I know I could do that would like really blow up, and then there's ones that I want to like kind of do because they're in line with like the timeline and the progression of the read through that I'm doing. And so like I kind of want to do one on Adjunct Lorne, not because I think that would like get so many views or anything, but because we just finished Gardens of the Moon and she's dead, and talk about her motivations while it's still like fresh in my mind and all of that stuff. But then it's like I know like an Ithkovian video would crush it, or something like that. And so I don't know, I'm just trying to like juggle you know what to do when essentially. But I do want to do a lot more of those character deep dives. I have Swift asking if the Malazan soldiers have a real name. They're named like the soldiers named each other in conflicts. Yeah, I do. I think there's a lot of validity to that. Actually, I was just rereading the bit in Deadhouse Gates when, at the very beginning, when Fiddler goes and talks to Kimlock, the Tano Spirit Walker, and he actually told. I don't think he told Kimlock. He told the Kimlock's like captain of the guard or whatever, and and his actual name. So he does have like a real name, but they like they all go by these kind of like brother band of brothers type names. I'm just catching up on the chat. Yeah, the names are terrible, especially for me. And I can see that Stefano saying how he struggled with the names. Imagine starting a Malazan channel, and I don't do audiobooks, so my whole experience with Malazan is with reading the books, and so I'm forming my own like pronunciations and all of that. And I swear my first like 15 or 10 videos or something like that, I was just getting constantly nailed. In the comments because it was not what like the Erickson endorsed version from the audiobooks, and I think the audiobooks even diverge from what Erickson ultimately wanted. So, but I definitely feel that. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, Edgewalker. Edgewalker is definitely one of these mysteries for me. I think that I hope we get to see more of that stuff fleshed out. I'm trying not to get like too spoilery, but if you go back to like the Kharkanas stuff, I think we see a lot of potential, I guess, is where I got to leave that one in where to go. I did try to get the audiobooks, Rashed. Somebody, forget who it was. I think I went on Nablus and took advantage of like the free Audible 30-day trial and downloaded it. And I can't like concentrate on an audiobook. I keep like my mind just goes somewhere else, and I'll be like actually like physically listening to it with the earplugs in there. But then like I'll be just totally somewhere else mentally and like not even paying attention to what is going on. So I think I could totally like learn a lot and actually get a lot of the flavors, but I'm too dim-witted to stick with it and actually be able to memorize it or whatever, or absorb it, I guess is the best way to put it. So no, I think in terms of the moving forward, I want to do more theory and speculation stuff and just like general like Malazan lore. Like I want to do a Krull's Blood video, and I put up and that's why if you're not in the groups, I think most of you guys I recognize from the group, either like the Reddit or the Facebook group or the Discord. Jump up in there because it's awesome. I am able to like bounce ideas off you. Like I just put out a potential thumbnail for that Krull's Blood video and was like, given awesome critical feedback that was super helpful. And so yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And like, again, everybody in there knows a lot more than me. So I think that you know, if you're in this live chat and chopping it up with everybody, that's like basically what it is like. And so I want to just do more of that type of stuff. Talk about the Warrens, talk about the Elder Gods, talk about the Azath, talk about that Builder guy. That guy definitely needs his own video. So I have lots of stuff that I want to do. I want to talk about Icarium, and I want to talk about the mechanisms, and I don't want to spoil anything, but that is something that I think could still, you know, sky's the limit for exploring that stuff. We talked about the tiles and the deck of dragons, but we could talk about the coins, again, for people who've made it all the way through. There's a lot, right? And so ultimately I just saw like a huge gap where I couldn't do, you know, find this kind of information, at least not in video form, without reading all the forums. Oh, and yeah, so the links for all of those things, I put them down in the description of the video and the live stream. You can either link to the Discord or any of that stuff, and jump in at any time. Thank you for reminding me, JP. Yeah, the Maker guy and Stonewielder. Yeah, so there's like a million things to explore there. I think that we could do something on spite and envy. That would be a fun and slash scary video. I think, you know, Draconis could have his own like video series of like 200 videos probably. So I, you know, it's not for a lack of ideas, it's just, you know, finding the time to make all of the different stuff. I want to do some videos like too, so just going back to the plans, like some of the other stuff that I want to do is like feature other Malazan content. So I saw Marcus up in here, but I want to do more like recorded, you know, quotes and really like dial up the quality of the videos. And like when we're talking about a specific topic like the Warrens, or like, you know, a specific god, to, you know, come in and bring like a produced quote that just makes it like a lot more enjoyable. If we can't get like a full-blown series, we could even have yeah, look at all the Malice people out here, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. um I don't know if you guys saw in the Reddit, and I see Geo's comment about Kachain, Che Melly. There was one like the Karen Che Mall. I think that was pretty hilarious. If you're in the groups, then you get a chance to think of all that or see all that stuff. But yeah, and like William said, like the favorite characters, yeah, like doing an Icarium video, a Karsa video, an Animander Rake standalone video, and a Draconis video. I know those ones would crush it, but I'm also trying to be like respectful of the people who are just getting into the series and not just be a total like I don't want to sell my soul for views and all that, even though I think those would all be bomb videos. I'm trying to like resist the temptation of doing the ones that just like get the most views and whatever. But yeah, I want to do more of that stuff. I want to like try and pay. Oh yeah, Tahol is the jam. I agree, that should be on there. Well, that's the other thing. I'm still like, if you go back and look at the 10 characters video, I don't know why I'm pointing down. It's not in the description, but if you watch the 10 characters, I'm still getting a ton of comments on there, and every day almost somebody's like, yeah, you forgot like this character, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like a really good one. So again, the channel is achieving its intended purpose, because like everybody has like different characters that they love, and I love them too, and you just forget because there's so many even on the third time through. So but yeah, I want to do that and like dial up the with more like produced quotes. I'm hoping like, if you know, and supposedly at like 1,000 subscribers or something like that, eventually I'm gonna like be a monetized channel. So, you know, which was not the goal, but if the channel can like make some money, I think it'd be dope to be able to pump that money back into the channel so that I could like maybe again like pay someone for the quotes, or you know, like commission little like tiny animated like, like a 30-second little animated piece of something really good for a video, or like a certain scene or something like that, or to make it kind of like memey, kind of dramatization of some certain little bits of material. I think that'd be, a lot of fun. And I know there's people like on Fiverr where it's like, hey, if I get $100 out of the channel because of the stupid ads they make you guys watch, then maybe we could use that to make the video even that much funner, and kind of, even though again we're not going to get like a full blown series, that at least we could get some fun little like animated bits, or sick quotes acted out, etc., etc. So and live streams, I mean, I think this is pretty fun, and I can see you guys are all like chopping it up. I don't even know how many people are here. Let me go over to the main YouTube page to see if I can see. Yeah, there's like 35 people in here. I think there was like 40 at one point, but yeah, I'd love to do that. I think that we can get in here and just kind of chop it up and chat Malazan and ask questions. And oh yeah, Korab. What am I missing? You guys are going big. Yeah, Krupp, Iskarol, Tahol. That would be a pretty gnarly game of cards. I love the little the meeting between Krupp and Iskarol Pust. I just like Iskarol Pust. So yeah, he's a interesting dude. Again, being early on in Deadhouse Gates again. I'm reminded just how much I love Iskarol Pust. Deadhouse Gates is such an interesting book on a reread, sorry, because you kind of have all the perspective that you don't have the first time around. So yeah, it I'm having, like, I think these books, and we were talking about this whenever we were chatting directly in the Discord a week or two ago, but it's just like an onion, right? Like, there's every time I read the series, you get more and more out of it, and it's more enjoyable, right? Because we kind of, you're past that like stumbling block of not knowing what's happening, or just being in a hurry to find out what happens, kind of. And then the second time through, you're like, okay, I know what happens. Now you're trying to like kind of refresh and like really actually absorb all the information. But the third time through, it's like I can just totally enjoy and like savor it or whatever. I don't know, I'm not good with words, but it's just it gets better and better and better every single time. So I'm not sure, honestly. I watched some interview with him on YouTube, and it was like him talking about, this is to Swift, who says, do you think Erickson just let his imagination run wild or what? And I think he did, kind of, and because he wasn't like published yet, and then I think he couldn't get it sold because it was too big and gnarly and just like rambling and all over the place, and then he went back and rejiggered everything after he had already kind of been published, but went back to it like out of the love for it or whatever. And yeah, I appreciate it, because it does feel like you put a lot into it, and it feels like super real, and it's weird. It's like it's fantasy, and people are like turning into dragons, and accessing like other dimensional portals, and like pulling power out, and like literally manifesting that, in terms of like, physically in the real world, like shooting fireballs and lightning bolts and blah blah blah. But it's it feels real. You empathize with these people. Their motivations seem like relatable. Like you could understand people reacting the way that these people are reacting, and all of that stuff. And so it's like the most fake and the most real at the same exact time, right? It couldn't be more make believe, in the sense that all this gnarly stuff that we can't actually do here goes down. But all of the people are like so fleshed out and rich with detail and built out as three-dimensional human beings that and I think that's why it has so much kind of staying power. So and why it just like, if you're looking for something grown up, it's not the fantasy tropes. That's the other awesome thing about Malazan, right? Is it's not just like a good versus evil. Like and again, talked about this in the Discord where it's like, there's forces of darkness and the forces of good, and they're trying to get to this one kind of climactic thing where like Frodo chucks the ring in the lava and that's a wrap, right? And then evil is conquered. It's like even when you get to the end of all of the ice stuff and through the main 10 books of the series, right? There's still more, stuff that's left unresolved. It's not just like a one size fits all ending that buttons every last little bit and point up. It's not like a Wheel of Time even where it's like it's good versus evil and there's some dark bits, but mostly it's just like kind of a Messiah-ish type story. And again, this one is just much more three-dimensional and gnarly and awesome. And so Sweet Lord. Yeah, there's actually a subscriber on my channel called Sweet Lord too, which is pretty cool. I don't see him in here, but yeah. The names are great. I also want to do not just the names. There's also, I think what would make an awesome video. I don't know if it could make a whole entire video, but like just all the sayings, like Hood's balls, and all the little like one-liners. I think like Malazan one-liners. Tell me that would not be the best video. That would just be absolutely hilarious. That would be like one perfect for Fiverr, right? Where you like get someone to animate out just like little scenes of like Fiddler and Whiskey Jack, or like Quick Ben going, Hood's hoary balls on a whatever, or something like that. That would be absolutely epic. So, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff I want to do. If for whatever reason this thing does end up making money via like the YouTube monetization, whenever they end up turning that on, then yeah, I'd like to use like all that money just to make the videos better and like make the like video quality a little bit better. This is on my camera. I bought a little thing too when I was trying to get this all ready, but it didn't come from Amazon in time. But to use my like actual camera that I use when I'm recording a video, which is just like a little bit less grainy, and this obviously looks terrible and like garbage on my computer screen at least. Hopefully it looks like yours, but or looks better on yours. Yeah. Hood's marble balls on an anvil. Yeah, so the one-liner video, I think that one's like a slam dunk, right? Hood's breath. I just want to, yeah. I think I got to make that shirt that says Hood's balls. I don't think I'd be like violating any kind of a copyright on that, and I just want to print it for myself. But yeah, I have so many cool ideas to do like merch and stuff like that, like for myself just to wear, that I got to figure out how to do all this stuff, because I just kind of again started this stuff all for fun. But yeah, I was gonna go through the scheduling stuff, which I didn't touch on all the way, but yeah, I think like I will still continue to try for 2 a week. I want to try and do the chapter by chapter stuff, and I'd love to do even more than that. It just depends on how quick I can get them recorded and edited. I like throwing in like the memes and the sound effects and stuff like that, just to make it like break up the monotony of me just talking. So I'm balancing again that against like the quality and trying to find that right balance. But I think 2 a week is what we can shoot for, and I think that we will try and do 1 to 2 chapters per. And I know that means that it's just going to end up being a long time before we get all the way through to the Crippled God. But I think that just is what it is. So hopefully you're in it for the long haul with me. I think that yeah, the other thing is, and hopefully you do join those groups and stuff, because I want to solicit ideas. I want to do the, if there's character videos that you want, like I mentioned Ithkovian and Rake and doing a Whiskey Jack, and I want to do a Beak video, obviously. I want to do a Krupp video. I want to do an Iskarol Pust video. I want to do the most powerful mules in the Malazan world video. I want to do, Shadow Mule. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I wanna do all kinds of that. But if there's people, I want to know what you guys want to see, because there's very likely I want to do that too, and just haven't even thought of it yet or something like that. I think I have like allergies or something. My nose keeps itching. That's why I'm scratching my nose. But I want to do best friends videos. So go to one of these things, or go down in the comments even on this video, and let me know what are the best friends that I need to make sure to feature, right? We want to do a talking tool. We want to do a Onrak the Broken, and like Troll Senegar, or yeah, definitely the duos top 10 of Kellanved and Dancer, for sure, the best friendships all around. But I want to know what specific friendships I need to make sure to include. Favorite minor characters, Beatrice, that is an awesome idea, right? That one would be a lot of fun to celebrate, like the Spinnock Ravs or something of the world, where they're like so consequential but don't have necessarily like a lot of screen time. That's a really good idea. Icarium and Mappo, definitely. We could do I want to go over ice too. I don't want to just go over the main 10. I want to get through the whole 10. I want to do the 5 or 6 ice. I want to do Kharkanas. I want to do them all, man. I want to get every ounce of ground there is to covered, and just kind of have fun with it for, the long haul for multiple years, and just kind of have dissected every aspect of this, and just nerd it out. Gesler and Stormy are going to make it for sure. And Fyra, hey, how are you? Thank you so much for jumping on. I want to do top romances too, right? Let me know there too, which are the ones that we need to make sure to throw in, right? We got Tahol and his lady friend. We got Karsa and Samar Dev. We got there's so many good ones, right? We got my man Whiskey Jack. And there's a lot. Callum and his scary old wife, Manala or whatever. There's a lot of good romances. We could even throw in like a twofer on Cutter and Chalice and Sorry or Not Apsalar. And actually in Crocus and what's her name from the boat with Callum's cousin, right? Barathol. Oh, I can't believe the gal's name is slipping my mind right now. Ublala and his 150 girlfriends. Corlat for sure. That's an epic one. Bent Roach. Oh my gosh, that would be Bent Roach should just be a standalone video. Hellion and Herb. Oh, and Hellion, and who's the other guy who was like the king of? Oh my gosh, I don't know why all these names. I'm better when I can have my wiki open. But Hellion's like boyfriend from the and Solara. Thank you, Geo. Yeah. Yes. Gosh, see, you guys are already crushing it. Oh my gosh, Onos and Hatan, that would be a killer video. I'll definitely put them in the top romances. That one is tragic though. That is a brutal, Hatan especially, man. Jeez. Yeah, Skull's death. Oh, you know who else? Who else is Shirk Alel, that's who I want to do one of. Yeah. Skull Death is the prince, dude. Yes, you're right. Yep. And the straight up G'd up one with like the little knife that just straight up puts in so much work and like moves at superhuman whatevers. Gosh, there's so much richness, right? Like I feel like we could do like a 5.5 hour long live stream just because there's so much stuff to get out there. Ganos and Tattersail. So yeah, that's like another one that hopefully maybe, depending on what happens in the Karsa stuff, because chronologically, if you think about it, Karsa's stuff happens 10 years after, um, the end of the main story, right? And so, oh my gosh, Dorn and Ulara, that's so sad though. Gosh, you guys are getting me. And then I got all, sidetracked. But yeah, I could do like all the different soldier factions. I think it'd be cool to do a breakdown of the Malazan military and talk about like sappers versus heavies versus, the cadre mages versus like the high mages, right? And so yeah, um, gosh, there is a lot to cover. So, yeah, exactly. Just talking about the characters could be, a whole thing in and of itself. What else did I have noted down top? Oh yeah, I wanted to do like a most badass, magic wielders slash mages, and like include ascendants and not or whatever, because that's fun just to think about. And like most of these people don't go up, behind you. No, they're not the Malazan Funkos. They're Game of Thrones Funkos. But I actually found this gal who is, I want to say like out of Czech Republic or something like that, and she actually made me custom Funkos for a different movie, the movie Rad. It's like this old BMX movie, but she made all the characters of that, and I was like, damn, I should like get together really good descriptions and send them to her and see if she can make some Malazan ones for me. How awesome would that be? Like Malazan is right for Funko Pops because they just automatically lend themselves to that style. It would be, awesome. Yeah, and then that was the other thing I was going to ask, like cultural profiles. Like if you go into, thanks Rex for bringing that up, because if you watch like Nablus or something like that, he always does the, like Morandi cultural profile, the blah 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 cultural profile, and I think I could do those if you guys would be into that stuff, and we could do like a Wiccan cultural profile or a, whatever, a SETI plainsman, or the culture of Darujistan. I do Geo play video games, but we talked about this a little bit in the Discord. I just don't have any recent ones, so I'm still like playing Grand Theft Auto, and then I'm playing Counter Strike, which is what I played back, 20 years ago or more when I was in college. So I'm looking for a new game. If you have game recommendations, hit me up with that too. Um, yeah, I really want to know what that nameless Marine's name was. I'm coming in late. I didn't see what you guys were even talking about, but I see, William was talking about, Diker's girlfriend. That was so sad. And then he like doesn't even open the thing until it's too late. Oh, that whole thing with Diker is just absolutely devastating. It's awesome seeing him at the beginning of Deadhouse Gates too. So much happens in like the first like third of Deadhouse Gates that is like of so much critical importance throughout the whole series. It's like crazy that like first time around you can't really appreciate it, but man, that stuff is of major consequence. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll even get Erickson on here one day and just chat with him about the books and be able to do like an Ask Me Anything or something like that, and just like say thanks to him and celebrate him because, yeah, he has like bestowed this crazy gift on us. So let me see. Oh, Mike, cheers, bro. I can't wait to hear what you think. I know you're not starting until next year, but, that will be super fun to see what you think because you're so well spoken, and I always like just love hearing your thoughts on the series. So that's cool, and thank you so much for stopping by because, yeah, we need some more good Malazan content out there. So, yeah, that's kind of the agenda that I had for today. I'm curious to know what you guys want me to do. Like, let me know, either through the Discord or the Reddit or whatever, what we should be doing and what videos you guys want to see, what couples, what best friendships. Cause yeah, we're just getting started. We got 1,000 and feeling pretty good. Oh my gosh, Ryan, I didn't see you in here either earlier. Sorry for slipping on that, but yeah, it's crazy that this channel has grown so fast. What is my favorite Malazan Book of the Fallen book? I think I gotta say, I don't know. It's hard. I think the payoff in the 10th is really up there, in terms of value. I think that the Memories of Ice is pretty epic. I think Deadhouse Gates is one of the best too. I know, like, Deadhouse Gates for some reason seems so controversial. Like, there's people who say it's the best in the entire series, and then others who say that it was garbage and I couldn't get through it. It was worse than Gardens of the Moon. So, oh yeah, worst companions. That would be a good one for sure, because there are some terrible traveling companions out there. I also just want to do one about like the pets or something like that. And we could talk about like all of the Bauchelain and that kind of thing. And just like the mules, I guess, that we could get in there. So, but yeah, I think, yeah, I'm with Cyrus. Crippled God, bomb, but Memories of Ice, bomb too. So it's, they're all really good. I really liked, Fall of Light and the first Kharkanas book too. So I like them all. I think that I like the kind of lightness of the Path to Ascendancy stuff too, and I feel like that was really accessible, and kind of just fun, and it went by quick. It isn't kind of as dense and heavy. It doesn't rip your guts out every single second the way that some of the other ones do, but it was deep enough. I feel like they could have gone deeper. I feel like all those books could have been like 800 or 1,000 pages every time. I just got I just bought actually these, which, and maybe one day I'll do a bookshelf review, but I got the combined like Bauchelain and Korbal Broach. So these I actually haven't even like cracked open yet, but I have them on my Kindle or whatever. So everything was on Kindle, but I figured, since I have a Malazan dedicated channel, I should get some of the books up there. So yeah, I don't know. I like them all for different reasons, but I think for my money, you start with that first 10 in the core series and just polish those off, and then I still like the ice stuff. I know that he doesn't get as much fanfare as everybody likes the Erickson stuff, but I still really enjoyed all of the ice stuff for its own merits. Basically, it's just a little bit different of an animal, but I still really like it. So yeah, Gardens of the Moon could have been deeper. That could have been like a 3,000 page book, and he could have fleshed that out more, or like you said, done away with some of the characters. But he said he just wanted to kind of just jump in without a lot of hand holding. I'll try and find that video and post it somewhere. But I agree. I think the ice stuff is underrated, Cyrus. I had so much fun with that, and I think he did a really good job. And again, it kind of like being able to go back in the Path to Ascendancy and kind of demystify some of the stuff, which is like seems like legend, in the minds of the characters that you're riding shotgun with in the main series. That you're kind of there to see that like not all of that stuff is true, and it's kind of like unreliable narrator element to the main series as well, and they're just kind of like, again, lighter and more fun. So Kristen said check my live stream, my Steam account after this live stream. Yeah, I will do that for sure. Yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of with Jonathan. He said as long as we keep getting stories from this world, I'll be happy. And that's kind of how I am too. I was bummed that he didn't finish out Kharkanas, but I'm pumped to have the Karsa stuff. So yeah, you know nobody gets everything they want, but still pretty happy overall. So I'm curious about Grimm's question too, because he asked, "Does anybody know how much time's passed in Midnight Tides compared to when Troll's telling the story to Onrak and Monarch in the House of Chains?" I think, yeah, exactly. And just to Matt's point as well, that like Night of Knives, it was still fun and it's easy to kind of dive into, right? It's not as hard to trudge through all the potsherds of of literary vocabulary, shall we say? But but yeah, it was cool. So yeah, I like it all. Oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, it's crazy. I never thought I'd get 1,000 subscribers. I was like, I'll be happy if we get like 50 or 60, and like a handful that like chatting about the books. But thank you for stopping by. And yeah, how long have we? Oh my gosh, it says the stream's been running for over an hour. Let me check the main stream. Um, yeah, says 65 minutes. So I don't know if I just keep it going. I'm having fun just chatting with you guys. So um, interesting. So Ryan said that Erickson has said that if he wrote Gardens of the Moon today, probably hold your hand a bit more. I kind of agree because Ryan says he feels that having to find his own way really helped him to get totally immersed, and I think that that's how I was too. Because and also the other thing is I think it works in the context of the book because like you're kind of for the first part at least riding shotgun with Ganos and also like to a lesser extent a little bit with some of the bridge burners, but they don't know what's going on either. They think they're getting double crossed by the Empire. They don't know who all the players are or what their motivations are, like what Tayshren's up to and what Dujek thinks about it all, and what Hairlock, is up to and all that stuff and who he's working with, or that Oppen is up in the mix, or that Shadow Throne, this new house, is like meddling in affairs. And so I just think that it works because that's like kind of the same exact boat that most of the characters of the actual story are in as well. And so totally agree. Yeah, and Grim is struggling with the Litheri. Yeah, even just getting into that was a culture shock, wasn't it? Just going over to the Litheri Empire. So yeah, it was pretty crazy stuff. But I still love Gardens of the Moon, even though I know it's one that people trash talk all the time. What we get out of it is high quality, even if you can't fully appreciate it all on your first pass. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. What do you guys think? Should we do more live streams in the future and try and just keep the conversation going? I feel like this worked. I feel like this was pretty fun. So I enjoyed it at least, and so yeah, I think I will go ahead and leave it here, and maybe we'll call it for today. But I encourage you guys all, if you want to keep it going, I'm in the Facebook and in the Discord a lot more regularly, and we can chat between videos, and you can sample the goods for stuff that I haven't released yet and want to get your feedback on. You can let me know what videos you want to see and all of that, or I think 40 even at one point. That's a huge win for me. So thanks again. And yeah, until the next one, happy reading.